I'm very, very proud to be here. I didn't expect this, but I'll just keep it short and sweet because there's no such a thing as a speech too short.
You know, I thought I could, but I'm sort of obsessed with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to prove things.
Still?
Yeah, I just think, like, Sly, I know everyone thinks you can't. Do you think you can? And it just keeps me going.
Sylvester Stallone, the legendary action star, has just escaped from his prison. Sitting alone on a park bench, he seemed like a man lost in the prison of his own struggles. Out of nowhere, a little girl approached him with a simple sandwich and a kind smile. This happened at a time when he was quietly battling the hardest challenge of life. What was troubling the Hollywood star? How did this innocent gesture lead to an extraordinary twist in his life? Join us as we uncover the moving story behind this unexpected encounter. A simple sandwich. On a quiet, ordinary afternoon, a little girl sat under the tree with her mother at a small park, trying to get away from the hot sun. The girl was about to take a bite of the sandwich her mother bought when she noticed a man sitting alone on a nearby bench, with his head bowed and his face filled with sadness. He looked lost, almost like someone searching for a piece of himself in a world that was unfair to him. She walked up to the man and offered her sandwich to him. The man looked up and smiled, but the girl was surprised to see the face of the man she approached. It was Sylvester Stallone, a name many have known as the face behind Rocky and Rambo. But this was not the action hero everyone knew. This was a man fighting battles no one could see as he carried his own weight of struggles. He thanked the little girl, and then she walked back to her mother without asking for a selfie or autograph, as it looked like life had hit so hard, even after the years of fame. And now he is in a state of reflection and despair. But this simple sandwich offered to him with such pure intentions reminded him of something he had forgotten, and that is kindness and hope. As he walked away, he thought about the hardships he had to endure when he was as young as the little girl. His life was not just full of red carpets or compliments, because behind his fame was a story of struggles. Even in the toughest time of his life, he never gave up. From the moment he was born, he had been going through a lot of challenges. What were the struggles he faced when he was little? The first battle. When Sylvester Stallone was born on July 6, 1946, the world never knew he would become one of the most popular action heroes of all time. Because from the moment he was born, he started facing a lot of challenges. During his birth, there were complications that required the doctors to use forceps, which is a medical tool that is used to help deliver babies in difficult situations, but unfortunately, something went wrong. The forceps accidentally damaged the nerves on the left side of his face. This left him with partial paralysis, which he carried for the rest of his life, and this affected his lip, tongue, and chin, giving him a different way of talking and expressing himself. For most people, this looked like an impossible challenge to overcome, because trying to speak and the mouth is moving the way it should, or trying to smile and half of the face is not moving the right way, is definitely a big challenge to overcome. And he had to grow up living with this problem, which he later understood was not like the other children. The children at school noticed the way he spoke and how his face looked, and some were not nice to him, teasing him for something he had no control over. But he learned that he had two choices, which are either he allows the issue to defeat him, or he turns it into a strength. His parents did not make things easier for him, as they often fight and create a tense environment at home. This was a tough start for him, who was already dealing with physical challenges, but instead of giving up, he began to dream big. He imagined himself to be a hero, and someone who would inspire others through his courage. The paralysis became part of his appearance, as he got used to it and accepted it. And this unique look and voice set him apart in Hollywood for years, turning what others saw as a disadvantage into a special feature. proving that imperfections can be the greatest strengths when embraced. But the struggle did not end there, because as he battled with his physical challenges, he was also facing challenges in his family. What was his family like? A storm at home. His childhood was not just tough because of the physical challenges he faced. He was also facing a home that was like a battlefield instead of being a place of comfort. His parents, Frank Stallone Sr. and Jackie Stallone, had a different type of relationship. His father was a hairdresser known for his strictness and hot-tempered behavior, while his mother was a wrestling promoter who had a bold personality, and their heated argument created a disturbing environment, and Sylvester and his younger brother were caught in the middle of the fight. The tension in their household grew so difficult that the parents had no choice but to go their separate ways when he was 9 years old. The split left him feeling lost, and he was not sure of where he belonged. After the divorce, he lived with his father for some years, and the relationship they had was not on good terms because his father's nature made it hard for the poor boy to feel accepted. His relationship with his mother was also complicated because her parenting style was not easy for him to understand. Despite this, he endured and learned how to stand his ground and how to fight for himself. The problem of his family was too hard for him to handle, so he sometimes escaped into his own world, creating stories and characters for himself. Growing up in such an environment affected him emotionally and also left him with a deep desire to prove himself. He wanted to show the world that he can overcome anything life throws at him, but the struggle continues. His childhood became more challenging as he stepped into the outside world, where he was being bullied and rejected. How did he handle the actions caused by his mates? A cruel world.
School was not a safe place for him. Instead, it was another battlefield. As a young boy with the ability not to speak clearly and a tough family life, he quickly became a target for bullies. The kids teased him, calling him names, and making fun of the way he looked and talked. It did not help because his academic performance was also poor, making him feel like an outcast in the classroom. His partial facial paralysis made it difficult for people to understand what he said, but instead of the kids showing kindness, they mocked him. Teachers too labeled him as a problem child because he struggled to sit and pay attention in classes, and these harsh judgments made him feel lonely. He attended several schools during his childhood, moving from one institution to another as his parents' marriages were unstable, which added more issues to his life. The more he changed schools, the more he needed to get used to the new system of the new institution he was in, and that made it harder for him to fit in. At one school, he was expelled for his behavior, and this made it look like he was never going to succeed in life. Despite the bullying and rejection, he began to develop and get used to the problems. He refused to let the cruel words of others get to him, and he started moving his frustrations into doing something creative. He discovered a love for acting and participated in school plays where he could act like someone else in a different world. These were the moments that gave him a sense of purpose and belonging. He also found comfort in physical activity, especially when he started developing a passion for bodybuilding. He realized that building his physical strength would help him feel more confident and less like a victim who is being bullied. The gym became a place where he could take control of his life and overcome challenges. The rejection he felt made him stronger and helped him to desire something new and prove people wrong. But after school, he faced an even bigger challenge where he had to survive without home or money, and there was no clear path ahead of him. How did he live his life on the streets before fame? The struggle for survival. Before Sylvester became a famous person, his life was a constant fight for survival. And in the early days of his career, things were very tough for him. It was so tough that he eventually became a homeless guy. After moving to New York to pursue his acting career, he realized how difficult it was to break into the movie industry, trying to do whatever he could to feed himself.
making the dream of becoming a famous actor seem so far and out of reach, but he never gave up. He started running odd jobs to support himself in the beginning, but no matter how hard he worked, he was still struggling to pay for food and find a good place to sleep. He lived in a bus station just to get through each day. There was a time he had to sell his dog, a pet he really loved, just to get enough money to eat. He was determined that one day he would be popular, and he was willing to do whatever it took to get there, as he never gave up. He went for a lot of auditions in order to get roles and went to countless casting calls, but he kept on getting rejected. His looks did not fit the leading man image, and his speech and appearance were very far from what producers were looking for. He was told that he was not the right fit, even though he tried so hard. He finally landed a job in a movie, but this role did not change his life. But he believed that his dream would come true. Could this impossible dream really come true? The Rocky rejection. The road to success in Hollywood is never easy, and Stallone was not exempt. There is nothing more difficult than getting your script rejected by top producers in the film industry. After months of struggling and living in poverty, he wrote a script of a lifetime, as he hoped it would be his ticket to success. He wrote a script titled Rocky, which was based on his true life story that consists of his struggles, his dreams, and what it took to survive in a world that was against him. The story was about a boxer who was given a single shot at greatness, and he fought with everything he had. Stallone poured out his heart into writing this script, hoping that he could show the world what he is capable of doing. But when he finally showed the script to the producers, the result was not what he expected. Despite his passion and efforts, Hollywood producers were not interested, as they did not see any value in Rocky. They thought the plot was too simple, and they did not believe it would be a successful movie. Some even suggested that he should sell the script to someone else, as they think he was the right person to fit for the script. He believed in his script and itself, as he was not ready to let the doubt of the world take away his chance to prove what he was capable of. After so many rejections, a small production company finally agreed to make the script, but only if he agreed to a lower payment. But he will definitely start in the movie. This was a huge gamble, because he knew that if the movie failed, that would be the end of his career. But he did not care. He just wanted his story to be told, and he was willing to take the risk by putting everything he had on the line. Unfortunately for him, Rocky became an international success, receiving 9 Oscar nominations and winning 3 awards, and his life was changed forever. Even though the movie was successful, a new chapter of struggle began. How did the bias of Hollywood affect his chances in the industry? Judged by his looks. While he tried his best to get noticed in the world of Hollywood, his rugged appearance, which has been one of his defining traits, was not always a worthy asset in the film industry, as it was a major obstacle in his career. When he arrived in Hollywood, the industry was full of clean and handsome actors who fit the typical image of a celebrity. But his appearance stood out, and the producers believed the audience would not connect with someone who did not fit what they wanted. This bias was not about his appearance alone, but it was also a bigger problem in Hollywood at that time, as the industry preferred a particular style over other criteria, dismissing actors who brought their real nature and accepting those who appeared as who they were not. Stallone was not interested in pretending to be someone he was not. He wanted to bring the real character to life as a hero who had flaws but was still successful. The rejection he faced was not easy for him to handle, but he has gotten used to that and prefers to see them as a motivation to keep pushing and prove everyone wrong. Instead of trying to change himself, he decided to embrace how he was made. But he silenced everyone. He continued to write, direct, and feature in movies that showed his determination. Over time, his appearance and raw performances became his signature style that viewers around the world came to admire. But even the strongest fighters face battles they do not expect. There was a time when his career began to fade. Could his strength carry him through this? The setback of fame. Though he was able to feature in some careers, like the famous movie known as Rambo, He faced an unexpected fall in his career as the world of entertainment was changing, and the audience was interested in new faces and new stories. This was a challenging time for him. It was a period where his career began to fade. He starred in several movies that did not live up to expectations. Movies like Get Carter in 2000 and Driven in 2001 received some bad reviews and did not perform well at the box office, as critics called the films to be outdated. This feedback hit him so hard, as he had poured out his heart into these projects, hoping the viewers would find it interesting. The entertainment industry began to see him as an old actor, as Hollywood noticed the viewers were more interested in younger stars and new stories. Despite these setbacks, he continued to take on new roles and experiment with new projects. But the results had good and bad comments. He decided to explore different genres like comedy, but it did not land well with the audience, and at the same time, action movies that were once his forte were becoming more advanced. Adding to the struggles, he faced personal challenges during this period as his professional life became more uncertain. He had to find strength in order to keep moving forward. He began to reflect on what made his earlier work so different and wondered if he could still get back to his old self. He did not see these struggles as a failure, but as a chance to sit back and rebuild himself. And not every comeback is smooth, as one of his biggest projects brought new challenges and legal battles. What happens when criticism and legal battles overshadow his success? The legal battle. While he has struggled to get his career back, he starred in a movie called The Expendables. When the movie came out in 2010, it felt like a celebration of action stars, bringing together legendary actors like Jason Statham, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and others. The viewers were happy to see their favorite heroes on screen again, but behind the screen, the movie was criticized and faced a legal battle. The movie was a massive success at the box office, earning millions worldwide, but not everyone loved it. People said the plot was too simple as they relied more on explosions and fight scenes, and some also said it was trying too hard to recapture the old memories of action movies. These challenges did not stop at the criticism, and as soon as the movie was released, he was hit with a lot of lawsuits. And one of the claims was from a screenwriter who said that Stallone had stolen the idea of the film from his script. The case dragged on with both sides arguing, and he was trying to protect his movie and also protect his creativity and hard work. Later, some stunt performers sued the production team, saying the working conditions were unsafe and there were accidents on set, which led to a tragic loss of life. Stallone, as the face of the movie, had to face all the blame, even though filmmaking always involves taking risks. Despite these, he kept pushing forward, and he focused on improving the next movies as he brought more big names to the movies, hoping to win over the viewers who were not impressed about it. He dreamt of creating a franchise that honored the action genre and its stars, but the criticism and legal battles made it harder for him to enjoy his achievements. Yet he kept improving and fighting. But little did he know that he was going to face a heartbreak that no career achievement could ever fix. How did he cope with the most painful tragedy of his life? A father's deepest pain. Sylvester has faced many challenges in his life, but nothing could have prepared him for the loss of his beloved son, Sage Stallone. Sage, born in 1976, was his first child with his first wife, and he grew up to watch his father rise to fame and even followed in his footsteps, working as an actor and filmmaker. They shared a special bond in movies, but the father-son connection was tragically cut short in 2012. Sage was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment at just 36 years old, and the news shocked the world and his father. It was revealed that he passed away from a heart attack brought on by atherosclerosis, which is a condition that narrows and hardens arteries. Stallone described the pain he felt as unbearable, and something no parent should ever experience because his son had been a bright, creative boy with many dreams. His father had always supported his ambitions, cheering him in as he built a career in independent filmmaking. Stallone saw his son's potential and mourned all the moments they would never share.
The death of his son affected the entire family, especially his mother and siblings, and the family had to find the balance between mourning privately and dealing with the attention of the public. The media were curious about the death of Sage, but this was adding to the family's heartache. Stallone called for privacy during such a fragile time, pleading with the media to respect their mourning process. Despite the pain, he dedicated himself to his family and the projects he was passionate about. Over the years, he has faced other losses and challenges, including the mental health struggles of his second son, who was diagnosed with autism at a young age. When Stallone received that sandwich from the little girl, he was deeply moved. The simple act of kindness touched his heart, but no one could have predicted what happened 7 days later. He was happy and inspired by the little gesture of the girl, and after 7 days, he tracked down the little girl and her family, determined to repay their kindness in a way they would never forget. He used his resources and influence to help the girl and her family in an extraordinary way. What do you think about Stallone's story and the little girl's kind act? Did her sandwich remind him of something deeper? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.